All right. Good morning and welcome to 20 at 10, the Lighting Systems webinar series designed to keep you up to date with the latest advancements and trends in the lighting industry. My name is Brian Franco from the technical support team. Joining us this morning are Dave Hollingbee, Managing Director of Stoane Lighting, and Steve Lerum, West Coast Regional Manager for Interlux. Stoane is part of the Interlux family of products here in the US, and we are proud to present Stoane as one of Lighting Systems' sustainability partners. Dave will be speaking on that and much more as he provides an introduction to Stoane's aesthetically simple, high-performance line of fixtures. As we go through, please enter any questions you may have in the chat, and we will address them at the end of the presentation. And of course, if you'd like to schedule a follow-up with Dave or Steve, please reach out to your Lighting Systems representative or click the link on the 2810 page on our website. All right, guys, take it away.
Right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to just speak to you all over there. I've got a very limited amount of time to cover a lot of ground, so I'm going to dive straight in if that's okay. I'll shrink myself into the corner. I think I'm on the corner of your screens. So I'll dive right in. My name's Dave Hollingsbee. I'm Managing Director of Stoane Lighting, based in Scotland. I'm particularly talking to you today about gallery orientated lighting equipment, but I'll do a quick canter through just a bit about the background of us and the sort of lead up into how and why we make gallery kit. So apologies for speaking fast. Hopefully there's a bit of time at the end for any questions for bits you want to dive into a bit more, or a follow-up, as Brian says. Right, so who are we? We're about 60 folk. We're entirely based in Edinburgh, Scotland, and we cover a whole range of skill sets and backgrounds. There's just a smattering of examples there. We kind of greedily cover the whole gamut of manufacturing, design, support, the whole thing. It gives us a lot of control. It's a bit of a rod for our own back at times, but it's the way we like to do things. Nice little quote there summarizes a little bit about how we approach life. We try and do things right, understand the field, and use elegance and rigor to not clutter designs. We try to take a holistic view about the whole manufacturing thing. There's a sort of, I could talk all day about this slide alone, but hopefully it conveys the point there that it's about more than just looking pretty, or just more than technical aspects or purely sustainable aspects. So it's about the holistic view we take. We take a fairly forthright view to sustainability these days. We try to live by the phrase, count it or can it. If you can't account for things and demonstrate it transparently, then you shouldn't really be talking about it. There's too much greenwash around. Do your homework first, and then take it to the market or implement it or whatever it is you're looking to do. We are quite heavily involved on the front end of that counting process. The metrics over in Europe, we have two mid-level vehicles which are really gaining traction, TM66 for circularity and 65.2 for embodied carbon. And then there's obviously a lot of activity on the LCA EPD front as well, just getting somewhere with harmonized metrics in Europe, which is really good news to make things move and be more consistent. The fundamentals of gallery and museum lighting it's a sector that we got into very early on, and so we've sort of grown up with the technology as it's evolved through basically from halogen through to LED. But all that. So understanding damage factor, things like conservation criteria, the ability now to use technology to, on a granular level, understand and budget and demonstrate lux hours, for example. Energy conservation, it's still a big part of things, so it's not just conserving the artifacts, but energy as well, daylight harvesting sensors. With the advent of control, in particular wireless control, there's heaps we can layer into equipment and schemes now if needed. But fundamentally, you also need a good light source. That wasn't so easy in the early days of LEDs, but it's now pretty much the norm. Good quality, good consistent color rendering, the right color temperature, good thermal management to keep the color temperature consistent, and the longevity of the chip. Yeah, this is more of the same, thermal design in order to protect that high quality emitter that you sought to incorporate. With gallery lighting, more than any other sector, I think the nuanced approach, the toolkit of accessories is really important in understanding that, and no two scenarios are ever quite the same in our experience. So we've developed over the years all sorts of approaches there to solve niche requirements. Zoom optics has been around for a long time. They've not been great for a lot of that time, but just in the last couple of years, there really is some excellent TIR-based acrylic optics, some of them silicon, that have enabled us to now offer really good zooms with good range, good clean beam, and not the problems of efficiency and or color separation, which sort of plagued that area for a long time. So we're quite excited about development there, and there's a potential to reduce a lot of the clutter of cupboards full of alternative reflective and optics. Getting somewhere with framers now. Got some nice products offering there. Then there's the control side from a user experience point of view, understanding that and being able to offer technology and light technical features that allow innovative and pleasing dimensions there. With the Bluetooth controllability these days, we've been able to spill over even beyond conservation into security. There's capability there, and asset tracking, as well as location services, extra content that you can serve up at the artifact, the sculpture or picture or whatever it is you're standing in front of. There's heaps we could talk about there. There isn't time right now, but there's a teaser. And also ergonomics. The interaction with this kit, so that it's pleasing to use when you've got hundreds and hundreds of fittings to focus on a tight turnaround, but you also want confidence in your very lovingly set focus. So there's always plenty of consideration given to the actual user experience of the focusing and maintenance, and of course size and finished form, all that's important too. With modern LED technology and some of the design implementations we put in, we can offer some really nice compact designs, clean, easy on the eye, low clutter on the ceiling, without compromising thermals, without compromising beam control, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's definitely been plenty of progress made on that front. Talk a lot about the sort of more background part of it too, just making sure that there's compatibility between existing infrastructure or new kit going in terms of track, which is very often used to power and fix gallery lighting. Wired control, wireless control, different protocols. Talk a lot about that, but we can either provide it or we can normally alter a standard unit to use a specific proprietary track adapter if needed. And also definitely worth talking about is the continuity, not just day one or year one, but year 5, year 7. What happens when parts of the fitting get old or come to end of life or get damaged? A lot of thought goes into the remanufacturing of our kit and keeping stuff in service, to the point we don't just offer a 5-year warranty on everything. We offer a 25-year duty of care, whereby we pledge to keep it in service. That might be chargeable after 5 years, but there's plenty of examples now where we go in and upgrade old halogen or metal halide fittings or early LED fittings to the newest and most appropriate kit available. That obviously has significant cost and environmental benefits, never mind protecting schemes and aesthetics that have been designed deliberately. So the kit that we've got in this area, really, we're talking about the ZTA range, which was designed from the ground up as a circular range to have interoperability, common components, future maintenance in mind, all that kind of thing. So yeah, we believe the sweet spot is between embodied carbon and circularity. Somewhere in the middle is where is where we want to try and be. It's won some awards for that. So we do a range of sizes, and they come in all sorts of different options. And of course, finish, we have a paint shop ourselves, so we can paint whatever finish you need, and beyond painting into anodizing and that sort of thing. Zoom, as I mentioned before, that's creeping in more and more and is reducing the amount of sort of headaches and multiple accessories needed to be housed in a venue. I'm jumping back from the 50 to the 70 for some reason, but yeah, the 50 is the second smallest version. You'd call that 2 inches, I believe. Different snoots and that sort of thing. It's par for the course. And yeah, going smaller again, the 35, that's 1.5 inches. There's a range in that size as well, including a zoom actually, which is very cute. And then talking of cute, we've got the Protozoa. Not all museum and gallery lighting we do is up on the track. We do showcase lighting as well. We've done that for years at a sort of 16mm size, but the Protozoa is smaller again. So 9mm in metric, 0.35 of an inch, I believe, in imperial. And yeah, so it's this sort of size to scale. It's actually zoomable from 13 to 60 degrees, and there's a couple of, I think it's 3 different color temperatures available. CRI is still up in the high 90s, I believe. So, and all sorts of different mount methods available for the Protozoa. Talked about long service briefly. All of our kit comes with a serial number on the back of it. And if you type that into our website, it will serve you exploded detailed disassembly drawing with all the information you need to know what the materials are, what the tools are needed to maintain or strip it apart and recycle it. We hope to remanufacture it a few times before it comes to that. Yeah, and here's an example. Just last year, 350 old halogen fittings were stripped out. It wasn't the one picture on the right. They weren't actually the aluminium finish on the left. It was all white, but it was the same fitting. So we prepare the kit in advance. Go in with our mobile workshop. You can just see in the middle right there, and I think it was about 50 to 100 fittings a day swapped over, and 350 fittings upgraded in a week without shutting the gallery, which was a nice result. We do that sort of thing more and more these days. It's quite pleasing. Saves a lot of carbon and money. Not sure how I'm doing for time, but I've got just a few project references here to sort of just show the kind of thing we get up to. We're fortunate enough that our kit's been used in venues all over the world, really, a lot in Europe, and places like the Van Gogh Museum, the Tower of London, that's the newly discovered Charles Dickens portrait there, lit with the Protozoa. Westminster Abbey, the Queen's Jubilee gallery, that was opened just before she died, actually. More recently, it's the Photography Gallery, V&A. National Portrait Gallery that was opened last year in London. Van Gogh again. They do quite a lot of work at the various V&A venues around London. Great clients. The Wallace Collection. It's a travelling Formula One exhibition that moves every so often to different venues. And here's a couple of showcase examples. This is the 16mm Surf Type S, but gets used in all sorts of different configurations in showcases. And now with Bluetooth control, we're able to control and set scenes and manage both the showcases in the same arena as the track, which is something that's much easier to do these days. More than there. Duplication there. Welbeck, and ending on the British Museum. So I'm not sure how I'm doing for time. Pretty much bang on, I think, 15 minutes. I can't hear anybody, but if there's any questions, do I pause my screen and take some questions?
Yeah, hi Dave. Thank you. That was a great presentation. Yeah, we do have a few questions here. Let me queue those up. So one question, are we limited to dolly and Zicado dimming? What about 0 to 10 or any other options?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, no problem with that. I mean, 1 to 10 definitely. Then you've got quite popular over in the States is Lutron EcoSense, I think. I'd have to check on that. We've not done that in a gallery, I don't think. But yeah, and the other one is obviously Kasambi. Sorry, I listed Kasambi, but the other Bluetooth protocols really were only limited by the hardware. And these days, it's becoming more and more common to flash a fairly generic board with whichever protocol you want. I think Bubbly Net's becoming popular. That sort of thing. Silvair have another. Unfortunately, they've not harmonized these Bluetooth protocols. But yeah, the most common one for us would be Zakato controls, which is really capable. Not quite the nicest interface, but you can put a front end on that from companies like Digital Lock Dots, for example, that will tidy that up and link it into building management systems. Kasambi, people are fairly familiar with that now. But yeah, they do whatever. The bit that's when you're talking wired control to watch out for is the data busing. It's just 2 bits of copper, but they're trying. I think it's Stuki they bought Eurotrack. The one-track system and trying to harmonize that, because whilst a lot of the 3-circuit track systems that are fairly common in Europe and the States are common for the energy, the main supply, the data busing is different in nearly every situation, so there's not commonality there. It's normally surmountable, but you have to pair up the track adapter with whatever track's on site, so that come close to getting burned by that on site. But as long as you're wary, lots and lots of options.
Okay. Yeah, we have a few more minutes, a few more questions. What makes Stoane a certified B Corp manufacturer?
Just recertifying as we speak at the moment. So every 3 years, we recertify. This will be our first recertification coming up. Yeah, it was a way in the 4 or 5 years ago of wanting to sort of get some kind of accreditation. That can it or count it or can it phrase, we thought we were doing good. We wanted to be able to demonstrate it, and we were looking for a metric, a verified agency to sort of back us up. Or tell us where we were going wrong. So that seemed like a good fit, the B Corp thing, and we were hunting for sustainability metrics for more product specific, actually, when we decided to embark upon that. It aligns quite well with being employee owned. 62% of the company is owned by the current employees through a trust, which happened when our founder Mike Stoane left 12 years ago, something like that. Yeah, the B Corp challenge seemed to fit quite well with that. We passed comfortably, but not with miles to spare. It's a really hard bar to pass. We're creeping up a bit further this recertification round, but it's great. It's not just sustainability; it's governance, it's workers, it's customers, and it holds you to task on all sorts of things. And going through the process, I'm certain, makes you a better business too. It's maybe a bit tedious, but it means you do your homework and keep your house in order.
Excellent. That's big here in this market. This is probably a question for both Steve and Dave. Maybe you could just give us a little quick information about the Interlux and Stoane relationship here in the US.
Do you want to take that, Steve?
Yeah. So Stoane is what we call one of our partner brands. So we have, if you're familiar with Interlux, white goods is what we manufacture in Baltimore. All of other lines we bring in from Europe, and we go through and kind of redo the cut. We're in the process right now of redoing the cut sheets, making it more spec friendly. So we don't just go over and find a product, bring it over and copy and paste. We make sure that everything's really good. We have the IES files. It's specable for you guys. So that's what we do with our partner brands. And then eventually we'll start to look at either assembling or partial manufacturing some of the stuff. We're doing that with Linea Light right now. We have 3 products that we assemble in Baltimore to Italy. So we'll look at the same thing with Stoane. It just makes sense, especially with the sustainable stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much our role in the whole process.
Great. I think we have time maybe for one last question. Are all the optical accessories on the Stoane fixtures field changeable?
Yeah. We mostly use little spring clips to swap them in and out. Nearly everything we've ever built has deliberately had at least capacity for 2 accessories. We occasionally have a brief where somebody wants something that's more lockable, so you set your accessory in the rotation perhaps of a spreader lens and then lock it off with an Allen key. It adds a bit of cost because it's a bit more engineering involved with that, but it doesn't change the look very much. So yeah, all field changeable. A lot of the internal optics are twist lock these days. Over the years, the LED sort of secondary accessories have got much friendlier to use, more efficient color separation. All these things have improved. And as I was saying, to the point where I can see the trend moving more to zoom fittings. The top end and bottom end of the zoom is widening, so widening and narrowing. The efficiency is increasing, and things like color separation that was a problem with some of the planar convex lenses based systems. That's no longer a problem. So I can see that being just much kinder on people's inventory if you're managing a venue, and knowing when an exhibition changes, you can go to the fitting without needing to even go to a parts drawer.
Great. Thank you. That's about all the time we have today. Thank you all for attending the presentation. We're excited to tell you about what we have coming up next month. Please join us on Wednesday, May 8th for a very special edition of the Lighting Systems 2810 series. One of our manufacturers, Vibia, will be presenting their new Array and Net products live from Barcelona. Please note that this next edition will actually be 30 at 9. That's a 30-minute presentation beginning at 9 a.m. PST on Wednesday, May 8th. You'll be able to register just like always on the website or via the emails that we send out. We hope to see you all there. Thanks again to Steve and Dave, and thank you all for attending, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.